Imagine you're reading Shakespeare and you come across a word which doesn't make sense to you. So you look up the dictionary. Yes, you look up the dictionary and you put it in context of that particular sentence or statement. Sure. You don't just go and look at this root word like it would be in search. It's called a concordance, you know. A concordance would have and explain to you the root words, but then there are lexicons which explain to you how that word is applied in certain context. So the lexicon will actually give you more information about the context rather than just a root word. So that's why I'm saying when you read the Quran, the same applies. So Allah tells you to pay zakah, yeah? Yes. Now, if I were to ask you what is the minimum amount a person needs to pay, how would you know that from the Quran only?
Okay, so number one, I don't believe that zakat means zakat. I'm pretty sure zakat means purity, because every time zakat is used in the Quran, it's not used.
Allah tells whom to give the zakat to, and it includes the poor and the needy and the orphans. Now you're telling me that zakat means what? Sorry?
No, it says yunfiqu mimma andhum. So like they give what they have
to whom?
To these people.
Yeah, what are the categories?
Orphans, people without yatim. I honestly don't quite remember like all of them. But I know,
so the orphans, the needy.
Yes, it says to give all these people.
Sorry, what does zakat mean to you?
Zakat, I looked at the root word, it means purity.
Purity.
That's what it means.
So why would you give purity only to the poor people? No. Don't everyone deserves purity?
So ata, the word ata,
yes.
Ata zakat.
Atiyu zakat.
Yeah,
Atiyu zakat means what?
Well, atiyu zakat. Yeah. So the root word, there's three or four meanings to it. Right. The first one is pay. Second one is give.
No, ata means to pay, not the zakat. Atiyu zakat.
Yes. Ata means to pay or give or to. I don't quite remember the other ones, but what I'm saying is that zakat means purity.
Yeah, but
that's
I'm asking you the question.
Yes.
Is there only a certain set category within the society whom you give zakat to, or is it for everyone?
Actually, the ayah says they give what they have to these people, and they aqimu salah, and they.
You're not understanding the question. Let me repeat.
Sure.
Listen, this time, and it's important.
Sure.
You know the society has a lot of people in it.
That's correct.
Okay? We have poor people, we have not very poor people, we have rich people.
Yes.
So we have different categories of people. But the zakat is only applicable to certain category. Now, if you're, the Quran tells you who, and one of them are the orphans, the others are the needy.
No, could you give me the? Do you know which ayah it is?
I don't know off the top of my head, but there are lots of passages which speak about zakat. The question to you is this.
It never says zakat.
Wait, listen to me. You cut me off before I finish.
Sorry,
okay, the question is this. When you say zakat only means purity,
yes.
Is that the understanding from those passages in the Quran?
That's what it seems like to me when you take the word zakat and apply it everywhere. That's what I mean.
Okay, so here's the question to you.
Sure.
If it means purity in every context of where it appears in the Quran, yes, isn't purity something that is applicable to everyone in society?
That's correct, yes.
So zakat would be applicable to everyone in the society, right? Based on your logic.
If somebody believes in God, they add to zakat, yes.
Yes, but that's a question to you. Do you think, based on those passages in the Quran,
yes,
zakat is applicable even to the rich people?
Yes. Of course.
No, it's not.
It doesn't matter if you're rich.
It is the rich people who give.
No, but
it is not the rich people who receive zakat.
There's no ayah in the Quran that says zakat is to pay to certain types of people.
There is.
The people who believe they
No.
Yunfiqu. It's not zakat.
That's not true. You want to bring up the ayah, please?
Sure. If you can bring that, sure.
It tells you the categories. In fact, there's I think 5 or 6.
I know what you're talking
categories
about.
of people.
The ayah starts with they yunfiqu mimma anduhum. The certain types of people, and then it says وَيَقِيمُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَيَأْتُوا الزَّكَاةَ.
Yeah,
so
to whom?
Basically it says to pay all these people, plus to solely and then to pay zakat. I kind of don't buy that. I'm sorry?
It says يَأْتُوا الزَّكَاةَ, so it's give purity. How does that make sense?
So that's what I don't quite, to be honest with you,
okay, here it is.
The complete understanding
here
is not fully.
Are you from Iraq by any chance? Syria. Okay. Because there's another Iraqi person who was asking very similar questions. It looked a bit like you. I thought you might be related. Okay, here it is. So this is in Surah At-Tawbah, chapter 9, verse 60. It says here, As-Sadaqat, here it means the zakah, are only for the fuqara, the poor. Who are the fuqara? They are not the rich people, for sure.
Sorry.
Chapter 960. Chapter 9, verse 60. Okay? And al-masakin, again the poor. and those employed to collect them, the fund collectors, yes?
إنما الصدقات.
Yes,
Sadaqat
sadaqat.
is not zakat.
Zakat is part of the zakat. So if you look at the Islamic,
That's the Islamic. That's if you're trying to. I'm saying if we're just reading the Quran, sadaqat, it means like it does not mean zakat.
What does it mean?
Sadaqat is like something that you have that you're giving.
and zakat is?
Zakat means purity. That's what the root definition is. It means purity.
What is the root definition of sadaqat then? Why do you always go by the root definition? You're someone who ignores the context.
I'm saying I'm reading
going
the
by the root
Quran as it is instead of like having.
We'll
these
give you
facts-
zakat as well, no problem.
Sure.
Okay,
There's no
so
zakat,
in the case of sadaqat, which actually here it means the zakah, yeah? It says these are the people you give, and these are the ones who are the fuqara and the masakin. Okay?
Sadaqat means just charities. That's what it means. It means charity.
Okay. Sorry?
Sadaqat means
So does
charity.
zakah in the context here. Yeah, they're interchangeable, yeah.
I don't quite buy into the like the changing the meaning whenever you want. I don't quite buy it. I think the Quran is using the words as they are, and I don't really buy.
No, but you're
into
not
the
looking at the
changing it
words-
as what the interpreters.
No,
want it to
with
be.
all due respect, you're not looking at the word as they are. You're looking at the root words all the time.
I'm looking at sadaqat.
I bet you look at the root word of salah and you mean something else other than prayer. Am I right?
It does mean something other than prayer.
See what I mean?
But it does mean contact prayer. It does mean that.
What does the term Quran mean to you?
Quran means recitation.
Recitation. What about the Quran that's mentioned in the Quran? What does that mean to you?
What does that mean? Like
Tell
what?
me.
Can you give me an example, like what you're talking about?
Yes, like for example, the Quran is in Arabic in Surah Yusuf at the very beginning.
Yes.
What does that mean to you?
This recitation is in Arabic. Yes.
This recitation is in Arabic?
Yeah,
Okay,
this
so
Quran
do you
is-
believe that the Prophet ﷺ actually got the Quran? Did he receive the revelation? Is that the Quran?
Yes, that's the revelation. What he got is the Quran. Yes.
Yes. And the Quran is something that is preserved to this day?
That's correct. Yes.
Okay.
I believe it's
And the Quran also tells us that the Prophet ﷺ explained the Quran to us.
okay.
Are you aware of that?
I'm aware of that.
Okay.
the
So
word
where is this explanation of the Quran?
So number one, the explanation is whenever it says tubayyin, yubayyin, it talks about explaining to the people of the book from before. Okay. Like if you read it in context, it starts with talking about the Jews and the Christians, and tubayyunahum, so to show them, to make clear to them.
Who makes it clear to
And
them?
tubayyin does not mean to explain; it means to make clear. It does not mean
Yeah,
to
but who makes it clear?
Sorry?
Who made it clear to them?
Muhammad, he made it clear to them.
Yes. And how would you know where this commentary of Muhammad
The
is?
Quran makes it clear to them what they are disputing about.
No, it's not like Muhammad ﷺ would just read it verbatim.
He
would
I believe
explain-
that's exactly what he did. That's
So,
the only way he did.
that is not then making it clear. Because if I want to make clear to you, I wouldn't just read. For example, if I read a sentence to you, yes, you will tell me, no, the root word of this is this, yes? Because from your logic, you're explaining it to me, you're not just reading the word to me. Am I right? So even by your own understanding, explaining something doesn't just mean reading it as it
But
is.
it's not explained. It's to make it clear. He's making
Yeah, but
clear
it's
what they
saying,
argue
now you're
about.
playing semantics. Making it clear and explaining
it's not-
something,
it's not the same.
in this context is
To
semantics.
make something clear is in like something that they are arguing about. He is making it clear. For example, the Jews argue that Jesus didn't exist or doesn't matter, and the Quran makes it clear to them that no, Jesus is your Messiah. That's what it said, that he is your Messiah. We sent Isa ibn Maryam to the Jews as the Messiah.
No, that would be the Prophet ﷺ just reciting the Quran.
That's exactly what he did.
No, it's not exactly what he did. No, he did more than that. He
That's
actually
actually what
explained.
it says. That's
Yeah.
actually it says the only job of the Rasul is to recite, to give the Quran.
Okay,
That's
so you're saying salah means something else. What does salah mean to you?
Salah.
Salah.
It means contact prayer. Like to be honest with you, like it can mean contact prayer, but that's like the only plausible definition.
Sorry, what does it mean? It means what?
Contact prayer, like just prayer,
Contact
like,
prayer.
Like you're making connection, like connection prayer.
You mean just, what do you say? Just,
Not dua, not dua. Like,
yeah, why not dua?
sorry.
Because dua is also
Dua,
praying.
you're making a request, right?
No.
Salah, you're doing like you're connecting with God.
Yeah, but dua is also connecting with the God.
Sure, if you want to take dua as part of Salah, no
But you
problem.
just said it is not dua. Now you're backtracking.
Okay, sure. I apologize. It doesn't really matter to me.
It does matter because the
honest with
thing.
you, it doesn't really matter.
No, it does matter. I'll tell you why. Because salah is not the dua in Arabic. Okay?
I know it's not.
Okay,
Dua,
what
you're making
if
a
you're going to
request.
look at the root word of everything and then derive the meaning? Wait, hear me out. and then you're going to make derive the meaning, then you would actually not follow the 5 pillars of Islam even. So I don't know from what angle would you consider the Quran as a muhaymin to you?
Muhaymin was, I mean, if you don't mind. I don't know what muhaymin means.
Muhaymin means an overseer. It's something like...
It is.
Yeah, so it basically identifies the falsehood from the truth. Okay? Identifies the truth from the falsehood.
That's correct.
So, in that case, then how would the Quran be a muhaymin if you don't even know the terms in Arabic? For example, the muhaymin, the term I just gave you, you didn't know the meaning of that. Now, when you're reading the Quran, hold it. No, hold it. I'm not judging you by one word. But I'm sure there are many words like that you don't understand from the Quran. Am I right?
I could say something to you and you wouldn't understand it. Does that mean that's
but I'm not the one making the claim that I understand the Quran based on my own whims and desires.
It's not whims and desires.
It is. In your case, it is. Because you're saying I will translate it based on the root words, which happens to be from a lexicon, from a person that you don't even know.
Yes.
Am I right?
But
so I would rather wait.
It's not like it eliminates the options.
No, it does actually. I'll tell you why. Because when you take someone's testimony, yes, then you put your faith in that person already.
That's correct.
Yes. Now that person can be wrong.
Sure.
Yes. Same thing applies to the entire Quran. You know, when you try interpreting it based on a dictionary or a lexicon, or even just the Arabic language which you might have a limited knowledge of, then you will never understand the full message of the Quran. Am I right? Because you're limited already in the tools that you have.
I think it's clear though that what you need is pretty clear. Especially in the first.
How do you know what's needed?
It says this is a covenant of those. Alif Lam Mim, Dhalika Kitabu La Rayba Fih, Hudan lil Muttaqin is guidance to those who are weary or cautious of God.
Yeah.
Okay.
So how do you know you're conscious of God? How did you identify yourself as being
I understand that
al-muttaqin?
God is there, and I know that there's judgment day, and I know that I'm going to be accountable for what I'm going to do.
Right.
So that's.
Will you be accountable for the Salah that you pray?
Yes.
Yes.
That's correct.
So Allah tells you on Juma when you hear the call of the prayer, yes, to leave your work and approach towards prayer. Now, how would you, as a person who goes by your own explanation and understanding of the Quran, take that message about Juma?
Okay, well, Juma means get together. It's not
A gathering.
a day.
Yes.
Okay.
Jama, it means from the Jama,
Yes,
from gathering.
Jama, yeah, so
a congregation.
It means to get together, right?
A congregation.
Sure.
Yes?
It does not mean that you need to go on this day. Right? Like this is a day that was named after. Actually, I don't want to make a claim that it was named after or before. I'm not sure if it was named after or before. But the day Friday, you don't know that if it's.
Well, it's a particular time, right? It's not every day.
Sure.
So Allah tells us when you hear the call of prayer on Juma, yes.
So I'm telling you, when there's Juma, that's
Yes.
when you go to pray. So when people get together, that's when you go to pray. So I'm saying, you're making it seem like the Juma is Friday, and I'm saying
I'm not making it seem anything. I just asked you what is the time that Allah stipulates in that ayah.
there's a get together.
Yeah, when is a get together can be every day.
That's what Juma is. If you're trying to make it a pronoun, if you're trying to make Juma a pronoun, then you obviously.
Are you think the Arabs didn't know the days of? How would they say Friday in Arabic during the time of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam?
Well, I looked up the months before. To be
Yeah.
honest with you, and Ramadan.
Not the months. I'm talking about the
Muhammad-
days. Juma is not a month.
No. Thanks, man. I didn't know that. All right.
But the question I asked you was about the days, not the month.
Sure, but what I'm saying is like, I'm not quite sure how they arranged days. I'm sure they had days before. It's just like how Sabbath, I'm sure before the Jews, Sabbath was not Sabbath.
Let's not divert into others.
I'm saying-
Just answer the question I asked you.
Okay.
How would they know, how would you know, based on the Quranic ayah, which particular time is Juma?
Juma is get together. If you don't.
So
look
any
at-
gathering, any
When
congregation.
people get together to pray, go pray. That's right. When
Okay, so
people-
people get together in the church. Will you go pray with them? Not to be insulting you, but just based on what you just said,
Sure.
would that be a gathering?
That's a gathering.
And they are praying.
Okay. It
Will you
depends.
go join them?
Is it the same prayer?
I'm not. That's the question I'm
Is it
asking
the
you.
prayer of Quran? Is it like
Habibi, that's what I'm asking you.
that? Okay.
You said you defined it as just a gathering and people praying. I'm asking you in the church they do that. Would you go join them based on that ayah?
Obviously not.
So what would be the gathering that you're talking about?
When
That
people are
Allah is
trying
talking
to
about
pray
here.
according to like what the Quran is saying, like if you're going to pray to one God, go and pray, go join. That's what it says.
They pray to the one God. That's what they claim.
Okay, allegedly.
Well, allegedly, that's what they claim.
Okay, but what I'm trying to say is that if you don't try to make it a pronoun and try to associate with it, then it doesn't really make sense. You know what I mean?
But hold on. Juma is a particular time. Do you not agree with that? A
Juma-
particular time Allah tells you, Allah doesn't tell you do it all the time. Okay?
Sure.
Allah tells you at a particular time. So the question to you as a person who self-interprets the Quran, how would you interpret this ayah?
It's a society thing.
It's a society thing?
Yeah, like
so you just follow the crowd.
No,
Basically, that's what you're saying.
I'm saying, like, if the society of believers believe, like, oh, we should go pray on this day, people are free on this day, you can go and join them. That's what it's saying. It does not mean that you need to pray on every Friday. It never specifies any of this.
So when do you pray? That's the question. When?
I told you. Okay,
a society thing. A society can gather many things.
I think you're missing. I don't think the Quran is a guidebook to establish a society behind. I don't think it's that.
You don't think what?
I don't think the Quran, you could establish societal rules behind the Quran. I don't think you can do that.
What do you mean? When you say establish society, we are an ummah, are we not? Allah talks about the ummah in the Quran.
It does.
So what does an ummah mean to you?
An ummah means people who are the same mindset.
Society.
Yeah. Sure. What I'm saying is that the Quran is not a book to base all of society's laws based on. Okay? It's not that, because it doesn't have everything.
I didn't say it has everything, but it has everything in terms of...
That's important. It has the interest, the sex laws, like that basically...
The sex laws?
Yeah, like...
What sex laws?
Marriage
laws, okay.
Marriage laws, right. These things. It has the main societal construct, and then everything else, society is based around it. I don't think, for example, like zakat, if you take this tax zakat and you put it today's society, the London cannot sustain with 3% tax or 2.5% tax or whatever zakat, like you're trying to enforce zakat is.
Okay, when it says in the Quran in chapter 53, وَمَنْ يَنْتَقِي عَنِ الْهَوَى إِنَّ هُوَ إِلَّا وَحِي يُوحَى. That's the Arabic if you want to read.
Sure.
Yeah?
Sure.
What do you understand from that?
It means that Muhammad is not making stuff up and he's talking out of revelation.
Okay. Do you believe in that?
Of course.
Okay, so when he says he doesn't make up his own things.
He doesn't.
So even when he explains...
Dude. Okay.
Wait.
Okay, one more
let me
thing.
finish it, please. You didn't even let me complete the question. Okay? So when the Prophet ﷺ, when the Quran used to be revealed to him, are you saying his job was just to read it to the people?
That's exactly
is that what he did? Show me where he says that in the Quran. He does not speak out of his own desire. It is but a revelation revealed to him. Because this verse, if you ask me, it actually expresses that the Prophet ﷺ was obliged to expound on the Quran. It wasn't just for him to read it to the people. Otherwise, what is the point of having a messenger, Allah could have just revealed the book and say, okay, people go and read it. And then everybody will have their own explanation, their own interpretation of the Quran, and the religion will be in chaos. That is the reason Allah says He actually uses the message. Allah Himself actually says that He is the one who elects the messengers and the prophets. And it was their duty to explain and expound on the teachings. And that goes not only for the Prophet ﷺ, but to all the messengers, all the previous messengers.
Okay, so what does it mean when it says, for example, 75:16?
What does it say? Read it to me. I'm not a hafiz of Quran.
Fair enough. Okay, so it talks about لا تحرك do you read English? Okay. Do not move.
Read Arabic and then read English if you want.
لا تحرك به لسانك لتجعل به. لتعجل به. Don't speed up. Do not move your tongue to repeat this revelation in order to commit it to your hurriedly.
Hurriedly.
Okay? So don't speed up, okay? The responsibility of its collection and its arrangement lies on us.
Who is us?
God.
Okay.
When we recite it, then follow its recitation.
Who recites it?
When we recite it, when God recites it to him, then follow its recitation.
God recited it to him.
Okay. Do you want to say?
No, because earlier when I asked you us,
Sorry.
you said it was God. But then,
What's we then here?
that's the question I'm asking you.
No, I'm asking you.
Because you're the one interpreting the Quran. So I'm asking, what do you understand from that?
Okay, when it says here, when we recite it, means when God recites it, yes.
God actually recites to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
I'm not sure what happened there. I'm saying he recites it. I'm not sure
No, he
if
says
Gabriel-
we, when we recite it.
Okay, if there's another ayah that says that Gabriel recites it to you, okay, then I'll believe Gabriel recited it to him. Just this section.
Okay,
God recited it.
so you're saying that is God
I'm
reciting
taking
it to
it
the
as
Prophet
exactly what it
sallallahu alaihi
says, yeah. فَإِذَا قَرَأْنَاهُ. Like if we read it, that's it. Like what do you want me to? You want me to explain this for you?
Because
Like,
you know what? You know why?
somebody
You know
can-
why you're in a predicament here?
I'm not in a position.
You are, because you are not sure who is the one reciting that.
No, I'm sure it's God. God's reciting it.
Oh, you're sure now?
Yes.
Are you sure it was God
God-
reciting it?
Yes, when we recite it. When
Do
we
you really think that God can actually recite it to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam
No, I'm sure.
without the agency of
I'm sure
an
he
angel?
sent an angel. God can. I'm sure he sent an angel there.
Now you're sure it's an angel. Make up your mind. Are you sure about whether it is God reciting it or whether it's an angel reciting it to him?
I think the point is that it doesn't really matter.
No, it does matter.
No, to me
it
it
does.
doesn't matter.
Because in order for you to understand the context of every single verse of the Quran, I think it is very important that you understand what exactly the Quran is talking about. And that is the reason, as a Muslim, as a Sunni, and even I think even the Shia, yes, even they would go to their scholars to understand certain things in the Quran.
I mean,
you do not use your own.
There's only two understandings here. When we recite it, it's either God saying it to Muhammad.
So which one
or
are you
God-
sure about?
Doesn't matter.
It does.
Why does it matter?
It
Why
does.
does it matter if
Because
Gabriel
if-
brought it or God told
No,
it?
it's not about bringing
Is
it. It's
God's
about
word or not?
it
That's
does, because in terms of logic, if you cannot see Allah and live,
Sure.
yes, and you will die, and you cannot hear His voice in this dunya unless Allah wishes you to, then this is something that you should consider in the context.
Sure.
Okay?
Okay.
Then when
I'm saying, what does this
do you
matter
believe?
in terms of belief? What does it matter
Look,
in terms
look,
of belief?
everything is part of belief when you read the Quran. For you to understand it in a different way would actually really impact your belief. For example, when Allah tells you to pay zakat and to atiyu salah wa atiyu zakat, yes, to give zakat and to pray, then Allah has a specific instruction for you. But
I agree.
but you will interpret it the way you want. It's like, for example, I'll give you from the example in the Quran when the Sabt, which you talked about earlier, yes, the Saturday on the Yawm al-Sabt, when Allah told the Bani Israel not to do certain things, right? But they actually use their own understanding as to how to get around that prohibition. Do you remember that story?
They use the oral traditions.
No.
Yes, it is.
I don't know if you understand.
The Talmud goes around that. That's why.
The oral tradition, or whether it is a written tradition, it was based on the Torah. So the instruction of Sabbath,
so was the Hadith.
wait. The instruction of the Torah, okay, was
To keep the Sabbath.
was to keep the Sabbath, but they were not supposed to do the fishing on that day. Do you remember how they got around it? It's in the Quran.
I didn't read the Talmud. To be honest.
It's actually in the Quran. It's not in the Talmud. It's in the Quran. This story.
What? How they got around
Yes.
it? Okay. Good. But what does it matter?
It does matter because I told you. I just told you. You would use your own whims and desires.
I'm not. Okay.
Hold on, let me finish. Just like the Bani Israel, just like the Jews at that time, they got around a prohibition, something that Allah had made it haram on them. Yes? They tried to make it halal by going around the prohibition. So they would actually lay down their nets, yes, on a previous day, and then when the fishes used to come in, they'll say, look, we didn't do anything, the fishes came in our nets. Yes, I'm paraphrasing here. So what Allah has made haram, the people by their own whims and desires made it into halal by what they thought, using their own understanding and rational, that this is for us not prohibited. Okay, now that unfortunately you are in the same predicament. When it says atiyu salah wa atiyu zakat, then you would say no, salah doesn't mean the obligatory 5 times prayer. Zakat doesn't mean zakat.
You're basing on what other people are saying, right? What
No, I'm basing on the example that I just gave
You're
you.
saying, okay, look, the Quran says atiyu zakat wa atu salah, okay? Atu salah wa
Atiyu salah wa atiyu zakat.
Okay, so if he's doing this, okay? If he's saying this, and you're saying, no, actually, there's 5 times prayer. I'm saying you're using an external book to interpret this book.
No, the book itself says us to obey Allah and obey the messenger.
No,
Atiyu Allah wa atiyu Rasul.
obeying the messenger does not mean you can slap on 5 extra books to the Quran and say this is what the messenger did.
Say again.
You're saying that the hadith that you have
Yes.
is the actions of the Prophet.
Yes.
And I'm saying that there's no confirmation that this is actually the actions of the
So
Prophet.
what does Atiur Rasul mean?
To obey the Rasul,
In what way?
as in following the Quran.
But that would be Atiullah. The Quran is not the
No,
Rasul's.
I can't ati Allah with Torah.
Say again? Forget the Torah for a minute. Come
No,
on.
I can't.
What's that?
I can't ati Allah with Torah, using the Torah. I can't.
You can't, because the superseding, sorry, the Quran, like I told you, it is the one
If I
which is
don't
the
have
Muhammad.
knowledge. If I don't have knowledge.
No, I'm not. Let's not talk about exceptions. Let's talk about what we are discussing here. When Allah says Atiullah wa Atiur Rasul, why didn't Allah just say Atiullah? Because that is exactly what believing, obeying Allah is, the Quran.
No, really, no, it's not.